Hi guys, Fire Plays here, and welcome back to another video on the channel. And today, guys, we are going to be going over the Fremantle Dockers fixture reaction for 2022. Right, guys, now really looking forward to doing all these fixture reactions. They're really exciting, and I know they've been coming out pretty much daily for now. But I'll be doing a couple of double uploads with these as well, a little bit. But yeah, look, you start a series, and sometimes you aim to keep this one. Sometimes you aim to keep them going for a little while. But for this one, this is something short. This could definitely be wrapped up in the next couple of weeks, which is what's happening. So it's not going to be too long until this is all done. But there is another series I do have in mind that I will be starting up anyway. But yeah, today we're going to be doing the Fremantle Dockers. We're going to be going over their wins, how many wins I think they'll get, a rough ladder position, predicting every game, and all that. So yeah, first of all, they start off their season here in Adelaide against the Adelaide Crows, and I think Fremantle should be able to get the job done by around that 15-point margin. Again, this one could be really interesting as well. I think this could be one of the best round one games. I think you've got Melbourne Western Bulldogs. It should be a pretty good game. Richmond Carlton, which could be good this year. You've got St Kilda Collingwood, which should be a bit of an entertainer. You've got Geelong Essendon, which that could be quite one-sided. There's Twilight game, which I've totally forgotten what that one is. And then you've got I've totally forgotten. But this one will definitely be one of those good round one games, I reckon. So I'm going to say Dockers in a small amount. And then I'm going to say Fremantle. Fremantle versus St Kilda, Optus Stadium. Man, this is going to be a real entertainer as well. This is going to be... Fremantle have got two very good starts. Well, two very good games. Three very good games to actually kick off the year, really. These are going to be very big entertainers here. These ones are going to be very exciting, definitely. Now, they kick off the year with two Sunday games, actually three, because I can see the next game. Fremantle versus St Kilda. I'm going to say Fremantle should be able to beat the Saints. I'm going to say they're going to do it by about 10 points. It's going to be a really close game. And then Fremantle versus West Coast. What a start to the year. This is amazing. I'm going to have to say Fremantle. I'm going to say Freo are going to get off to a 3-0 start to the year. I reckon they're going to be one of those really interesting teams this year. Definitely a team to keep your eye on, as they could be up and down. But Fremantle, definitely a team to, look out for. And I'm going to say Fremantle by about 20 points in this derby. Whoa. What another interesting game. Fremantle versus GWS. This one could go either way. Going to have to tip the Dockers. It is at Optus Stadium, and I'd be saying they are probably the better team in this contest. So, yeah, I'm going to say Fremantle to take this one out by about 10 points probably. Essendon Fremantle, what a game. Wow. This is an incredible start. Now, this one could go either way as well. Now, I know I just did Essendon's a couple of days ago, and I totally forgot about yesterday, and I totally forgot who I said. Look, to be completely honest, I think Fremantle or Essendon could win this. I think I said Fremantle. I'm just going to go and check. Alright, so I just watched it, and it is indeed, I did say that Fremantle will win it. So I'm going to say Fremantle are going to win that one I did say by the normal 8-point margin. So you know what, I'm just going to stick true to the word, say that. Oh, it's another brilliant game. Fremantle versus Carlton. Jeez, Fremantle by 10 points. Look at this. Let's go back to the start, right? Let's go back to the start. So you got 1, you got 2, you got 3, you got 4, you got 5, you've got 6. Now, these are 6 games that could definitely go either way as well. They could literally go either way. I'd be saying, these games are so close. So insanely close that Fremantle are going to be a team that you want to keep an eye out for this year. In fact, if I was going to pick a team that I'd be wanting to watch apart from my Crows, it'd probably be the Dockers. They are going to be so interesting this year, and it's going to be so interesting to see how they're going to finish. It's going to be such an interesting team to watch this year, so I'm really excited to see how this team goes. I think they've got a good team, really good team, so I think they could definitely be a team that could finish in the top 8, and I reckon they're going to be one of those really interesting teams this year, especially with the way their top 6 starts. It could go either way, every single one of these games. So let's go back and, Twilight game v the Crows. This one could go either way at the Adelaide Oval. Another twilight game for the Saints. This one could go either way. Another twilight game versus West Coast. This one could go either way. A nighttime game versus GWS. Optus. This one could go either way. Marvel. Essendon and Freo. Twilight could go either way. Nighttime game. Fremantle versus Carlton could go either way. The top 6 could go either way. Now, I would probably be expecting them 6-0 more than 0-6. I'd be expecting them to get 6-0 wins rather than 0-6 losses. So they'll probably drop one of those games, which it might be against Carlton or the Giants or the Saints. But I think the Fremantle, they've got a very interesting top 6 games. Now, in round 7, that all comes crashing down, unfortunately for them. Geelong should take that one out by about 40 points down at GMHBA. So, yeah, Fremantle, they do lose their little bit of a streak, but then they come straight back in to another one with the Kangaroos kick-starting maybe a streak. Not sure who they play next, but yeah, Fremantle should be able to take this one out. It is an 8-10 game, very late over in the West. Now, that's actually 8-10 my time. So that would only be, what, if I take the hour and a half off my time, that's 6:40. So that's not too late for Perth people. But yeah, that is a very late game for especially people on the eastern side. That's 8:40. So if you're a Kangaroos fan wanting to watch that game, you are definitely in for a little bit of a later night at that time. Normally most of the footy games start 6:55, 7:10 or 7:20 in the prime time. This one starts 50 minutes later than the normal later game on the round, if that makes sense. But I'm going to say Freo will take it out by about 40 points. And then they have the Suns, which should be another win. So I'm going to say that they will win that one by 30 points. They shouldn't be dropping that game. Now, don't forget they've still got plenty of harder teams to play against. So, yeah, they've had their easy run. Freo Collingwood, WA. Freo should be able to take that one out by 20 points. Now, this seems to be a little bit of a harder patch here for them. So, they've got Melbourne and Brisbane in the next 2 weeks. So, I'm going to say Melbourne will be able to take that one out pretty convincingly. 40 points at the MCG. And against the Brisbane Lions, another 40-point win to the Lions. So, 2 heavy losses, and then they come back into decent things with Hawthorn, which I'm going to say Fremantle should win that one by about 30 points, 20-30 points. Now, Carlton, Fremantle, Marvel. Now, this one has the flexibility of definitely going either way. Now, Carlton, look, I'm going to say will win this one just because they've been so dominant at Marvel Stadium against this team in the past. So I'm going to say Carlton will win this one by probably 30 points because they are so dominant against the Dockers at Marvel. It's just something about the Dockers playing at Marvel against Carlton that just doesn't seem to go quite right for them. And now is Fremantle versus Port Adelaide Optus Stadium. Now, again, this could be a little bit of an interesting one because Freo could win, but I'm going to say Port Adelaide by 40 points. I don't really think that changes anything. St Kilda versus Fremantle. This one is going to be really interesting. This is a really interesting team. As I said, a team that you'd be wanting to keep an eye on this year, have a look at. They'll be very interesting. One of the better teams to look at this year, as I've said. St Kilda versus Freo Marvel Stadium. This one could go either way. I'm probably leaning towards Fremantle, so I'm going to say Fremantle by 10. Now, we've still got a fair few to go. Freo Sydney. WA again, this one could go either way. I'm going to say Sydney by about 20 points. Richmond, Freo Marvel Stadium, I'm going to say Richmond by 20 points. And then Freo Melbourne, Optus Stadium, I'm going to say Melbourne by 30, 40 points. And there's still a few more games to go as well. Still a lot more games to go. Then they have, they've got Western Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium. This will be interesting, but I think the Western Bulldogs should be able to win it comfortably by 30 points. Then they've got West Coast at Optus Stadium. Fremantle should be able to win this one by about 20 points. I reckon they're going to take out both those. And then the final game for Fremantle this year, GWS, Fremantle, Manuka Oval, safe bet, GWS, 20 points. And then now, this one's actually one of the longer fixture reactions, but this has been very interesting. This one's been probably one of the more interesting ones to film. Of course, considering this is probably one of the most interesting teams heading into this year. So it's time to go over their win-loss ratio, a rough amount of wins they should be able to get, a rough ladder position, and then that'll be about it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's already 9 wins. 10, 11, 12, 12. So they've probably got 9, probably 10 to 14 wins this year for Fremantle. Now, so I'm going to say 9 to 14 wins. Wow, that could put them in a very good spot this year. Now, this is one of the easier fixtures, but it all comes down to Fremantle's accuracy again, as I've said in the past. Fremantle haven't been good on the accuracy terms of things, so they could definitely drop most of these games if they're not accurate. So they are a real interesting team. That's why I've said this is a really interesting one. Fremantle could probably go from 8 to 14 wins. Now, if they win all the games they're meant to, plus more, that takes them to 14. And if they lose a lot of games, they could probably only win 7 or 8. I'd probably say 8, 9 to 14, rather than probably, 9 to 14, I reckon. 9 to 14 should do the job. Rough ladder position, where will that get you to? That's going to get you from 5th, which I know that's elite, 5th, to probably about 11th. So that's probably where I'd be saying Fremantle. I'd probably be saying them from about 6th to 11th this year for Fremantle. Top 8 should be a must for the Dockers, I reckon, though. I reckon they've got the team to do it. But, top 6. They've got Adelaide, St Kilda, West Coast, GWS, Essendon, Carlton. That could go either way. Then you got another spurt with North, Gold Coast, Collingwood. Then you go through a bit of a rough patch. Then it's pretty good. But Fremantle, they do start off really easy. So where's their easiest part of the fixture? Well, there's no doubt about it. It is definitely their opening 6 games. And then they've got 1, 2, 3 in round 8, 9, 10. And then one there, 1. Yep. So it's definitely a more earlier heavy side. So it's probably better to watch Fremantle in the earlier side of the year rather than the later, as they play most of their easy games in the earlier side of the year than the later. Fremantle definitely have the team that can take them to finals this year, even though Cherry's left, but the draft guns they've brought in have been amazing. Accuracy matters for the Dockers this year. They can't be slipping up like last year. Will they make the 8? Well, will they? Is the question. It's really up to them. They've got the fixture to do so. It'd probably be a little bit of a disappointment for Freo fans if they weren't to make the 8, so they should be making the 8. This is the longest fixture reaction so far, so we're going to have to wrap it up there. You guys can let me know, where do you think Fremantle are going to finish? They could be one of the wild cards this year. They could be really anywhere from 5th to 13th, really. It depends how they choose to go about these games. But I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys will never miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. So bye guys. Fire plays out.